ready when you are.
And let's do it. Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Live Q&A. This is May 7th, 2018, and we are here in the studio. This begins the month of busyness. 4 weeks, 4 conventions in a row. So I'm prepared. Going to CMON this week. Next week is Geek Away to the West. The week after that is the Homeschool Convention, and the week after that is UK Games Expo. So I'm excited about that. This is also the week that Melody graduates. So you're all invited to come to her graduation, which you say to everybody when you want them to send you money, right? I think that's how that works. So Melody's graduating on Saturday. So a lot of things keep me busy and occupied. Dice Tower Con, of course, is not too far away. We are 2 months away, right? May, June, July, right? So if you want a ticket to that, you definitely want to sign up and get that. All right, this is a Q&A. I'll be answering your questions here. I will also probably be posting a video later today or tomorrow with a big announcement from the Dice Tower that I need your feedback on, like ASAP. So, but I want to get together a few more details and get started from there. All right, so let's get some questions. I'm taking questions on both Twitch and on YouTube. So if you have a question on either and or, and we'll get started. I don't have any questions. That's why I'm just sitting here silently. I'm in the middle of reviewing some games here, getting games done because it's a truncated week. I need to get cranking on the games that I'm reviewing. So let's see. Right now I have Incorporated set up here on the table, and then I'll be doing Pool Party, Empires, and Terra Shifter. So those are 4 games. I'll also be reviewing Michael Strogoff, Cartographer, Sakura Arms, Around the Farm, Council of 4, Taco, Takeover, Bird and Hunger, and Kitty Bitty. And I believe are all the games I'm doing this week. A lot of kids games, but I'm never really ashamed of doing kids games. I think it's important to do kids games. All right, here we go. I'm pretty interested in how the Homeschool Convention will receive Tom's ideas, something new for them. Yeah, I think so, but I'm actually fairly excited about doing this. I feel very confident about going to this convention. I feel that it's going to be something that they're interested in doing, and I'm just trying to get people to find out about the Dice Tower. Curious to hear your opinion on the Nostromo game controversy. The publishers were accused of stealing the design of the game from the original designer. In this case, I have to stay out of it, really, because I don't know enough. I know what's happened. I know the accusations. I know the French Designers Guild, essentially, has gotten behind the designer, and the publishers have doubled down, even threatening to sue people if they keep continuing this. But frankly, we don't know exactly what happened, and I'm always hesitant to jump in on a witch hunt or torches and pitchforks type thing until we know all the details, and so basically I'm just staying out of it. Can you give us a tiny mini hint about the big announcement? Yeah, it's a tiny mini version of a bigger thing. Is that a new Dice Tower shirt or an older one? It's a new, it's an older one. I don't wear t-shirts very often. I tend to wear collared shirts. Which means I should make sure the mic is up, says Derek. All right, sorry about that. Thoughts on Black Rose Wars after your first playthrough or after your playthrough? I've already played it before that playthrough. I really like it. And each time I played it, I liked it more. To me, I think it's an adrenaline killer, frankly. It's very similar to adrenaline. There's some niggling things that I would fix about it. The board's a little busy. I would get rid of that rule about, being limited with the number of cubes. I don't think that really matters that much in the long run of the game. So I would play with unlimited cubes, essentially. I might, when I get I'm probably going to get the game, and when I do, I'll just add more cubes to handle that. I don't like all the artwork choices in it, but man, the gameplay is fun. It's diverse and interesting. I really like that part of it. Are you running any events at Geekway or just coming to have fun and play games? Well, yeah, I'm just coming to play fun and have games, but I'm going to be at Colossal's booth. So Colossal's bringing me in, so I'm going to be at their booth, and I'll be there. I'll probably be teaching Western Legends. Now that I know how to play it, I have a lot of fun with that game, and so I'll probably be demoing that game for them, but I won't be there the entire time. I won't be at the convention the whole time. I'll be leaving on Saturdays, but I'll be there all Thursday, all Friday, and a good chunk of Saturday, and then flying out. Have you figured out a concept yet for Twitch? For example, doing live plays exclusively on Twitch. Yeah, we still haven't figured that out yet. It's kind of a, man, it's such a, the whole Twitch and YouTube thing is such a mind number for me, because obviously our audience is on YouTube. Obviously there's a humongous audience on Twitch. We want to reach both, but I'm starting to think reaching both simultaneously is not that useful. Of course, if we just stream on Twitch, then we have the, I mean, obviously it's going to be really small audience, and we can always post it on YouTube later, but then the YouTube audience is a little disgruntled. So I'm really not sure what to do on it. Obviously, people have their very strong opinions on whichever one they like. So I'm thinking about it. Any thoughts on Fire Tower? Have I seen the Kickstarter for it? I have, and my thoughts on it are in my crowd surfing show, which is coming up this Wednesday. What's the opening song for Miami Dice? Banana, banana, bum. I don't remember what it is. I found it on a royalty-free website, and I paid for it to use it. What's your interest level in the new Eclipse 2nd edition? Did you talk to Colossal about it when they were over on Friday? Sure, I talked to him about it, and my interest is, that sounds interesting. I'm not like super jazzed like some people are, because I didn't think the original game was like mind-blowing as some people did. I liked it. I didn't think it was awful. I didn't think it was great either. The new version looks pretty, so I'm certainly interested in it, of course. How do you deal with a low IQ person at your gaming club that can ruin certain games when you sit at the table with them? They like some games that are too complicated for them. Well, that's kind of a difficult question. First of all, I'm hesitant to say, well, that person's not very smart. But I've definitely met people before where it's like, are you sure you want to play this game? This game has a gazillion choices, and you seem that you not enjoy it. However, if they never play these games, how will they ever learn? So let's make the question a little bit bigger. How do you deal with someone who just makes a game less enjoyable for you? That's up to you. Each person's different. Some people just won't play with that person. Other people, what I do is I try to play with them sometimes, so that I'm playing games with them, but not every week, because I want to also enjoy playing games too, but at the same time not at the expense of never playing games with people who maybe I don't like everything that they do in a game. Now, there are some people I won't play games with. If you're a jerk, if you are a vile person, essentially, if you say things, I probably won't play games with you. All right. Wouldn't Western Legend be cool with bullet markers scoring tokens? Sure. Thought it was pretty cool as it was. Do you think GenCon will be busier than last year, even though last year was the anniversary? What are you hearing? I'm not hearing anything about it, actually. I don't know if it will be busier than last year. I would assume it will sell out again, probably. Have you tried Banquet Royale? Will it fly with children? I'm pretty sure I played Banquet Royale. I just got to make sure I'm talking about the right game. Some of these games have such generic names. There it is. Oh, yeah. Maybe it would fly with children. But you're going to have to say, does it fly with me first? Wait for my review. Not overly positive. The meatballs in the milk bowl during the board game breakfast opening has been the same for a while. Do you have any new components you'd like to scoop up with a spoon? Sure. You know what it is I used to record from home board game breakfast. I now record board game breakfast here in the studio. And so I don't have milk here in the studio. I don't ever have milk. I don't like milk much. I know it's anathema. I'm just not a huge fan of milk. I think it's okay, but I don't drink it very often. And so I would steal some of my wife's skim milk, which I'm still of the opinion isn't milk anyway, to do that. So that's why you haven't seen a new segment. I might bring some milk in here and record a whole bunch of them and then just switch them in and out. We'll see. Approximately how much time do you need for finalizing a complete board game review? It depends on the game. What is the game? How long is the game? Every game takes, when I do kids games, I can pop them out pretty quickly. Big, grandiose games like this Outlook game, they take longer to do. Did I say Outlook game? I meant Incorporated. What are your feelings on letting young children win versus winning as the parent? I feel the same way I do if I'm playing wrestling with my kids or any kind of thing with my kids. If they win or if I let them win, I don't see that that's necessarily a big problem, but I won't let them win all the time. And as they get older and smarter and better, me letting them win is going to be less and less. I've never quite understood the idea of I will beat my kid, like playing chess against a kid, and you beat them every single time until that one day they beat you, and then lo and behold, what a turning point it is. But we don't do that with other things. Like if I'm playing basketball against a 6-year-old, right? I'm not going to just shoot the basket every time, steal the ball from him and play my hardest against him. You just don't do that. We don't. If I'm wrestling with them, I don't pin them to the ground and never let them do anything. And it seems weird that why would we then say in board games, though, that is what we're going to do? Nah. So I'll do things that will make the game easier for them. I might try something really weird, a weird strategy, give them a handicap, whatever it is to make it a fair game if possible. I'm not saying you always let them win. Of course not. I want my kids to learn how to lose. And I do make them learn how to lose. But I don't think you should also make them so that the only way they can win is eventually someday they'll be good enough to beat you at a game. With the announcement of 1 week Ultimate Werewolf, do you think Bezier is over milking the IP? I think you mean Werewolf. I think I thought that before the announcement of 1 week Ultimate Werewolf. Do I think it's a problem? I don't know if it's a problem. Steve Jackson's doing it with Munchkin. Other companies, they have their things and they run with them. If it's making you money, why would you not do it? I might be like, oh, here we go again, milking the cow. But at the same time, I might do the same thing if I was in that situation. What worker placement game would you recommend to someone who's new to the hobby, asking for troubles? What games do you plan on doing live playthroughs in the near future? I don't know if we're doing many live playthroughs this month because we'll be at different conventions. You might see a live playthrough of Sam with Memoir and stuff, and some of that, and Z doing his Arkham Horror stuff. You might see that as time goes by. With companies coming in, I simply don't think we have the time to do that over the month of May. Remembering that if you continue asking the same question over and over again, if I skipped it the first time, I probably am not going to answer it if you ask it multiple times. What defines a light, medium, or heavy game? Definition seems to flux from person to person and site to site. Well, of course it's going to, right? I define them according to the way I see them. I do think that many people, you have to be very careful. The more involved you get in the gaming, the more you will consider, and you'll be like, pfft. Like I always get a kick out of when I play Ticket to Ride, and I'll say it's a medium game. People are like, no, it's a light game. No, it's not a light game. It's only light to you. Or I'll mention, like, I'm playing Incorporated here, which is a heavier economic style game, and some people be like, that's a light game. No, it's only light to you, and we have to kind of look at everything with the general populace in mind. Are there live interviews, etc., coming at any convention soon? Not really. I'm just going to be, at the Homeschool Convention, I'm going to be working. At Geekaway, same thing. Origins, you might see some interviews from, CMON, there might be some interviews. Origins, we're going to be doing a whole live streaming and all that jazz from there, and I'm working on getting that set up now. How can Z say his parents aren't gamers when in every top 10, Z talks about a game he's played with his parents? They must play more games than any other non-gamer I've heard of. Well, just because people play games doesn't necessarily make them a gamer. Any more than watching movies makes me a movie, a cinephile, whatever they're called. It's just the way it is. There's people who like casual games. It's fun to play games. My brothers and sisters all will play games with me, but I wouldn't call any of them gamers. When are you going to review Dungeon Alliance? It's coming, I'm sure. When are you coming to Israel to play with us? So I'd like to come to Israel for sure, but that has never worked out so far. Also known as money and time. How much do you base your content on the data you have from past content? What statistics do you look at the most? Well, I look at views. By the way, someone else asked, what's the heaviest game that you play through, that you're still playing now? Probably Gloomhaven. But how much I base content on the previous stuff is I look at stats on views. And I see what gets viewed and what doesn't. I kind of take a look at that. There are some times that I'll say, this doesn't get a lot of views, but we're still going to do it. I always take a look at how much effort it takes to do something compared to how many views that come out of it. So if something takes a whole lot of work and very few views come out of it, I don't think that's worth doing. Then there's things that take very little amount of work and they get a lot of views. A good example of that would be our daily unboxings. Those aren't a lot of work for us. We put a lot of effort into our stuff, for sure. I don't want you to ever think that we don't, but some things are easier than others. Daily unboxings are easier. You are literally opening a box on camera. Reviews are like 6, 7, I don't know, probably 10 times the amount of effort. Now, more than that probably goes into a review than an unboxing, and yet sometimes unboxings get more views. It is what it is. But I take a look at the different shows and the things we do. I look at stats a lot. I definitely am paying attention to stats. I keep track of each month compared to last year's, that same month. Every month is different and over the course of a year. When you look over the course of a year for views, January is always very, very high, and that's partially because it's still coming off of the Christmas. So January and December are probably the 2 highest months of the year. After that is July and August are pretty strong, but just July through January is a much stronger period of video game viewing than than February through May. May does okay. April and March are pretty low months. Actually, May has been pretty low for us so far too. I keep track of all these numbers and just watch the different things that go on. It depends when games come out. All the big hot games come out at GenCon and Essen. Not all of them, but it seems that way. So there's a lot of views around that point in time. In November, December, people are excited to buy things for Christmas, and so there's a lot of Christmas shopping going on. So there's more views then. During the colder months, people are watching, although this year it seemed like every month was a colder month. So there's just different things that I watch. All right. I wonder about burnout. Some games are great, but leave me feeling flat. I have 205 games, yet you have played thousands. How do you avoid burnout? Burnout's going to be different for everybody. I play video games, right? And I like different video games, and so I'll say, ooh, how's this game playing? And I'll play it for a while and see what happens with that game. But I've noticed with every app that I have, I play like these apps sometimes where you check in on them daily, like the farming ones and all these things. So I'll play it, like, ooh, that's fun. Ooh, I went up. And then one day I'll miss it. And then a couple days later, I'll come back, and then, oh, wow, I went like several days. And after like a week or two, then I miss it. And then pretty soon, I realize I haven't gone and looked at that thing in months, and I have no desire to go back. And that's how I am with video games, with a lot of video games. Like, I'll play Skyrim for a while and be really involved. Like, a good one is Breath of the Wild. I played Breath of the Wild crazy all the time, everywhere, playing it, adding stuff, doing all kinds of cool things. And then I just, I beat the game, which didn't help things, right? And then I played it a little bit more, and I just haven't played it in a long time. I've been playing something else, but something else has caught my eye. With board games, that doesn't happen to me. I don't play the same board game all the time. I'm always playing new ones, and that keeps me from burning out because I love this idea of finding something new. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow night, Tuesday night, because it's gaming night, and I'm excited because I have some new games I want to try out. I'm excited to try some of these out, and that sort of thing is exciting and interesting for me. Let's see here. The expansion for Enchanters is going live later today on Kickstarter. If you could fix or improve one thing in the game, what would it be? I would make the rule about fewer cards definite with 3 or 4 players. It wouldn't be an option. I would say you definitely need to take out more cards with more players. But yeah, I'm excited to see more stuff for that game. I really enjoyed it. Do you feel like your critical thinking about games gets in the way of having fun while playing them? There's nothing you can do about that. I don't think so. But it happens, right? No matter what, when I'm playing a board game now, I'm thinking about how I'm going to review it. Even if I'm not going to review it, I'm thinking about how I'm going to review it. But this is the same way. Ever since I started doing video editing, now I don't do a ton of video editing. I do video editing. You know, I work on video editing. I'm working on, and I'm in charge of our video editing to make sure that it gets done and to buy new tools and things that we can use. So if I watch movies or commercials or anything, I think about the fonts, I listen to the music, and all this stuff. I'm still kind of laughing at the commercial or being involved with whatever I'm watching, but I'm thinking about how did they do that shot? How did they put that on there? And sometimes I'll hear music and go, that's royalty-free music. I know it is. You know, and or I know what program they use to do that because I know how that special effect is done in that particular commercial or whatever. Let's see here. I saw that Rules Girl did a playthrough in Jurassic Park Danger recently. This is the first I heard of the new game. Do you have any thoughts on the game? And is it likely that a rule will come, I think you mean review, will come later for the game? Oh yeah, you said that there. Sure, I just did an unboxing of it. You'll see that next week. And so that's one of the games I'm thinking tomorrow night, because it's Jurassic Park. I think of light games as any game that can be readily be proposed to a non-gamer, especially if they can learn the rules on their own. That's why I think of Ticket to Ride as quite light. Again, you might think that, but that doesn't mean it's light. Things like, there is really light games. Apples is light, but Ticket to Ride has strategies and has multiple things. It is not as light as you think that it is. It might be light to you, it might be light for you to explain to people, but it's not light. That nonsense that's sold at Toys R Us and Walmart, that stuff's usually pretty light. Do you find yourself frequently upgrading components or parts of your games? Yes. Will we see you or Sam in the Arkham Horror LCG campaign with Z? No. That's just the way that's going to be. How's the best way to learn a rules-heavy board game? I found that a good way to learn a rules-heavy game is to set it all up and walk through the different parts, and then to play it again with other people. But if I set it up and walk through it, at least I might have an understanding of how some of the basic mechanisms work. Will you be conflicted reviewing the new edition? Nothing personal when it comes out. I won't be reviewing it, so there won't be any conflict there. You often say you like dice chucking. What do you like about dice? The excitement of the unknown outcome, the feel and sound of rolling dice? Yes and yes. I just like rolling dice. There's just something about it. Who is my favorite Avenger? Well, I mean, initially I want to say Captain America. It's probably Captain America. I do like War Machine, though. If you're talking about the Marvel comic universe, it's probably still Captain America, although Thor is moving up there for me. Do you ever come to London? Sure, I'll be in London in a few weeks. We'll be in the UK for about a week, so we'll spend a day or two in London before we head down to Birmingham for the convention. Are you looking forward to Solo? Yeah, sure. I don't know. I'm not as excited about it as you think it might be. It might be a great movie. Prequels don't interest me as much usually, because when I see someone in them, I'll go, oh, like, for example, Lando Calrissian's in this movie. He's not going to die. Neither is Han Solo. They're not going to die. Everyone else who I haven't seen in the current movies, they might die. But I don't have any kind of attachment to them. It's hard to explain. I would rather you show me stuff ahead of time or just show me a completely different story. Now, granted, knowing what might happen in Rogue One did not change. I really did like that movie. So I'm not saying it can't happen. It's just that, I don't know. I'm just not that excited about it. But I'm not like, I'm going to probably go watch it. Do you think it's possible somewhere in the future to make a Dice Tower Con or Cruz in Europe? For Cruz, we've looked into that. The problem with Cruz is the room to play games on the ships is not as available on a European cruise. So we're looking into it, but let's see here. Do we see movies and TV shows get out of date after a while? Do you think board games are affected similarly, or do you think a good game will be a good game forever? Not every game. Some games do feel dated when we play them. We'll talk about that often. In fact, That's one of the weird things about Cosmic Encounters, that it doesn't feel dated and it's 40 years old. But most games do feel dated. When you play these older games, you're like, oh man, they've made mechanisms, deck building would have replaced this, worker placement would have replaced this. You know, there's just different things that get better as time goes by. I find that most games with high scores or rated highly on Board Game Geek are bigger, grandiose games. Do you think it's difficult for a small or family-weight game to get rated highly by reviewers? No. See Azul. Why no best children's game category for Dice Tower Awards? You know, we didn't really think about it that much. We don't have enough people voting on it each year. I'm going to probably add some more people, and I'll probably try to add that back in next year. How much would it cost to fly you in to a board game convention here in Israel? I don't know. I don't know what ticket prices and all that jazz cost. It also has to work out time-wise, you know, that doesn't cross other conventions and things. I would certainly love to come to Israel, but, you know, or any country for that matter. But it just doesn't work out. We can't go to everything over the course of the year. We actually have to do work. So, like, for example, I mentioned this month. I got 4 conventions. I got and each convention is going to take up the Thursday and Friday of that week, possibly other time preparing for them. But I don't want to have less content this month at all. So I'm going to work on having as much content as I possibly can, even though I'm going to be gone. So I have to squish a week into 3 days. And so that's what I'm doing now, right? I got this week I'm going to Simon on Thursday, Friday. So I have to get everything done through Monday through Wednesday. Did you get on the Street Fighter Miniatures Kickstarter? No, I did not. Did anything about... Remember, I back very few Kickstarters, though, so don't use it as any sort of metric at all. Did anything about the board game interest you? Well, the models look good. I have to say, I'm very nervous that Jasko's doing it. How much attention do you pay to the hotness coming out of Tokyo Game Fair? I don't pay any attention to it at all, frankly. I mean, I might keep one eye on it. I'm looking at the different games, but we'll get the games as they come out, and we'll see them and play them, some of them, and time tells with everything. I mean, like I said, I keep one eye on it. It's an interesting thing. We thought about going in the past, but it's really difficult to justify flying all the way over to Japan for a single-day convention, when we will see most of these games anyway. I play a lot of board games with my wife, but since I'm the one in the hobby and I've researched the games, I find I win most of the time. Well, then get a game without researching, I guess. I don't know. Or play the same game multiple times. I mean, then maybe you won't win. Try new strategies. I have a friend, Wink, that wants to produce or co-produce with an experienced producer. How would he, Wink, go about it? I don't know what that means at all. Co-produce what? You have to be more specific. Do you think there's any place in the industry for a successful written-only content creator? Oh, sure. I mean, written content isn't going away. I read written content all the time. I wouldn't say that audio or video is the only way to go. It's the way that I've chosen to take the Dice Tower, but that doesn't mean I think it's that written is garbage or anything. I don't think I would ever even say that. There's a lot of useful things for written, so I think it's possible, sure. Do you consider criticism, like movie, book, games reviews, to be entertainment or journalism? I consider it to be reviews. I think it's entertainment, obviously, but I also think it's useful information for people. It's informative, a review. That's what I would think about it. What is your opinion of Thunderstone Quest going back to Kickstarter from a company that probably has the capital to do a retail release? Well, first of all, a couple things in your statement. You said a company that probably has the capital. You don't know. So, I mean, do you think Simon has the capital to do a release? I don't know what the amount of money they need to do one of these. I don't have a problem with any company using Kickstarter. They can do whatever they want. You know, if they want to do Kickstarter, if they want to do pre-orders or not. I don't feel like there's this... I'm always kind of mind-boggled that people think that there's this magical line somewhere in Kickstarter that you're not allowed to do a Kickstarter if you are a certain size of a company. But how do we determine the size of that company? You know, when do you cross the magical line? Is there a certain number of games? If you pretend you're a small company, like if you, like Red Raven Games, I'm not saying he's pretending to be a small company, but Ryan Lockett does everything for that company. He does Kickstarter for all his projects. Should we all sit there and go, well, since it's just him, that's okay? Well, how do you know? Maybe he's making money hand over fist. You know, or maybe, and a lot of times you think these bigger companies are not that big at all. They have just a few employees. So I really think this whole kind of, well, this company can't use Kickstarter. That company, you can use Kickstarter. Who cares? Let them all use Kickstarter. Some people say, but the noise, the smaller Kickstarters can't get noticed. Yeah, they can get noticed because it happens all the time. Do you like falafel? I've only had it once, but I did enjoy it the time I had it. The owner of a publishing company told me, yeah, you have to go into video reviews for us to send you some to review. No one reads written reviews anymore, and I hate to be on camera. Well, I mean, if that's what the company told you, maybe they do their metrics and stuff. But I would imagine if you started doing written reviews and did them very well and built up an audience, eventually that would work. But why are you writing the reviews? Are you writing them for that, like I want review copies? See, that's a bad way to get into the shtick to begin with. Like someone said, the owner of a publishing company told me, you have to do video reviews for us to send you for some to review. You don't need the company to send you games to review. You can just review games. You say that takes money. Yeah, but when I first was reviewing games, writing them, by the way, no one sent me games for a long time. I just reviewed the games I owned. I would borrow games from other people and review the games of theirs. I would review, there's ways to get these games to review them. Sure, you can't review every hot new release, but you can do a good job reviewing. We don't have any more room in our apartment for our games. What do you suggest? Get rid of some of your games then. I don't think, the trite response to people like, oh, get a bigger apartment. No, get rid of some of your games. Only keep the ones I grow to where I have space. Like right now in my studio, I have all my games into one studio room, and that's where those games are. If they get too big for that room, then I get rid of some. I'm not going to play them all anyway. What's the major announcement coming soon? Well, it's coming soon. Like I said, I might do a video about it tomorrow morning, I think, is when I'll probably announce it, is my goal. I'll try to announce it live on Facebook probably, and maybe post it to YouTube too, and other things. It's not, I gotta be careful. I don't want to get people's too excited about it, but it is something that I want to get announced and get some feedback on. Otter says, apart from gaming, do the Dice Art crew ever get together for team building or stuff like that? Team building, well, we get together for meals, and we go out to eat sometimes, and we go to movies together, and yeah, that's pretty much what we do together. We haven't done any team building exercises, though. If I fell backwards, they would probably let me fall. Warren says, I want to thank you and your contributors for inspiring my husband and I to start this new and amazing hobby. Well, we're very glad that you like it. All right. Well, I see I'm 18 minutes behind on the YouTube questions. I'm caught up on the Twitch ones, though. I'm going to start going faster here. Idea for new gaming segment. Gaming around the world. In this segment, you visit different gaming group shops in all countries around the world talking about current and past popular games in that region. Fantastic. That's super expensive. That's really expensive. When will Jason join you for an unboxing? Jason's job has really consumed him. He's extremely busy, so he does not come down here to the studio much at all. I've done some statistics of the top 10 videos and games in it. Are you interested in that? I don't know what that means, but I'm always interested in stats, of course. Going to my first convention and playing Dominion for the first time. Any tips for a newbie? Have fun. I mean, really, are you trying to win? Is it like a tournament? I wouldn't want to give you tips on that. There's other things. But if you're going just to have fun, have fun. Have you checked out the new Lost in Space series yet? Yes. We're watching them together as a family, so I believe we just finished episode 5. So we're kind of going through it slowly, maybe watching one a week or so when the whole family get together. Everyone is really enjoying it. Everyone hates Dr. Smith so much. It's so funny. My kids all yell every time she comes on the screen. I'm really having a great time with the series. I think it's very enjoyable. The robot is amazing. The backstories are well done. So far, the first 5 episodes, really been enjoying it. But I laugh every time Dr. Smith comes on. My kids are they're like hissing hatred at her. And also, they're kind of mind smacked at how stupid some of the other characters are. But it makes sense, right? They're not seeing like they see Everything, so they see all the things that she's doing. They're like, how can these people not notice that? Well, because you probably wouldn't have. Let's see here. Have Salmon Zi done another duet since the 2016 GenCon? No, they have not. Not that I know of. Do I have predictions for Spiel 2018? Not yet. Oh, man. Someday I will go to Dice Tower Con. It's so expensive from Norway. I agree. It is. But you should come anyway. No, if you can't afford it, don't come. But if you can, it's super fun. What's your preferred game from Mensa Selection 2018? Probably Raiders of the North Sea. Do you think educational games actually teach children? Yes, because I think we all learn by doing. Where do you get your Stonemaier component upgrade packs? Well, I've got some online. I've got some at conventions. I found them in stores. Whenever I come across them, I'm like, maybe I should buy just one more. Are we going to see the review for the new Manhattan Project this week? No, it's probably been pushed to next week, just because various different things going on. I'm planning on making Budapest jjigae. Well, that's different. Budaejjigae is delicious. Budapest jjigae, that sounds like a cross-cultural mix. Delicious. How much content from other board games channels do you watch? I try to keep an eye on all the other board game channels. I watch a lot of them. Do they ever influence improvements for the Dice Tower? Yeah, sure. I think we can always learn from each other. So I'm always keeping an eye on everything that people do and saying, oh, it's a good idea. Maybe we should try that. Did we get a new camera? Video looks great today. No. Maybe I'm just sitting in the right spot with lighting. Who knows? Tom, you've been revisiting some older top 10s. We have been, as exceptions to the rule on your agenda to look at again. No, I don't think that's anywhere coming soon. I have the top 10s. I think the next top 10 is, I can actually tell you because I can look up and see what it is. Sorry. I'll pull it up in a second. Our next top 10 is not going up till next week. And there's Dice Tower checklist. And all right, so I make a Dice Tower checklist where I keep everything here and I say what's coming out each week. And so, like today, everything for Monday is done. Tuesday, I'm still working on stuff for Tuesday. And Wednesday, I'm working on right now. Anyway, so for next week, top 10 train games. Choo-choo. That's what's coming up next. All right, where are we now? Letterman or Leno? I always liked Leno better because he just seemed like he enjoyed people more. Letterman, he had some funny stuff. His dry sarcasm was something I'm very similar, but he didn't seem like he really enjoyed what he did. He seems like he's enjoying his new show that he's doing on Netflix. But before that, it never seemed like he really... It didn't seem like he would be someone I'd want to hang out with. But actually, I like Jimmy Fallon the best because I think he's just enthusiastic and fun. And people think he's corny, sure, and he does things people don't like, but he has silly fun, and that's why I like watching him. Did you grow up watching Johnny Carson? No, I grew up with no TV. I'm planning on making budaejjigae for my wife. What do you put in yours? Well, my wife and my daughter make it, and they do different things. Ground beef is a good thing to put in it. I like pork in mine too, but you gotta have Spam and hot dogs and some good ramen. I mean, there's always various things. It essentially is throwing whatever you have into it. What's your opinion on board game stores increasing MSRP price on games by 5 to 15? I find it frustrating as I'm trying to support a local game store, but they lie to me about the reasons for price. I don't know what that means. Are you saying they're charging you more than the MSRP? Because if they're doing so, then I wouldn't shop there at all. I'd go somewhere where they're selling it for MSRP. It is a manufacturer's suggested retail price, so I guess they can sell it for whatever cost they want to or need to. But I don't know that I would shop somewhere that sold over it. I would pay it, right? I don't think everything needs to be discounted, right? But to pay more than that seems like something, maybe if it's out of print, I don't know. Do you think we'll ever get another truly new and unique mechanic which becomes widely used, like the first time deck building or worker placement were used? No. All improvements for board gaming has been done forever. No, of course not. Sure, I think so. Sure, there's going to be something. When? Where? Who knows? Obviously, if we knew, like, oh, well, there definitely should be a game that does this, then it would be being done. Did you attend Free Comic Book Day? No. I spent Saturday home with my family. What's your biggest pet peeve, dislike when playing a new game? Rules that are hard to understand, for sure. I really dislike when I open up a rule book and they say, okay, and this just happened with a small game recently where they're like, take the 6 whatever's and put them here. Well, what are they? Especially when you have cards and they're not labeled. They'll be like, put the 6 Budapest cards over here. Well, which one of these are Budapest cards? I don't know. Show me a picture. And I hate when games, A, don't show you a picture of components and just tell you to put something somewhere. B, don't show you a picture of setup. And C, there's ones that have setup at the end of the rule book. That's crazy. I know it's really hard to write rules. So I think that all the time, this was hard, but that still aggravates me. I put games away in a fit of rage before I said, I can't figure this out, we're playing something else. What's the math behind the voting process for the awards? How are votes from a person weighted when they vote for multiple games? So if you are talking about the Dice Tower Awards, which I assume you are. So for nominations, there's no weighting at all. The games that get the most votes win nominations. For the games of the year, when we vote on those, you can vote for up to 3 games in each category. So if you vote for, these numbers might be a little off because me and Jason worked out the formulas, but it's something similar to this. If you vote for just 1 game, that game gets 2 points. If you vote for 2 games, the first one gets 3, the second one gets 2, and if you vote for 3 games, it's 4, 3, 2. Something like that. And you say, well, that doesn't make sense if you only vote for 1. But what we found was, if we just gave 4, 3, 2, some people would say, well, I think this game's going to get a lot of votes. So I'm going to vote for this game and only vote for it. And then it will get 4 votes, and I'm not going to give points to these other games because I don't want those games to win. And we thought, that's crazy. So if you just vote for 1, you just get 2. Because we have people try to game it and make it so that their game won or manipulate things. And I don't want you to vote for just 1. If you think there's multiple, then vote for them all, and they all get points. And that way, the truly best games will rise to the top. Will you be at CMON on Saturday? I will not. I will be at my daughter's graduation. If you could transfer all your knowledge of board games into another field, science, law, history, sports, what would it be? I mean, what would I do if I wasn't a board game reviewer? I don't know what I would do, but maybe food. I'd love to be really smart about food. How do you feel about publishers raising minimum advertised prices? That's a very, very deep topic, and I have different various feelings on that. I've heard a lot of different opinions from different ways, and so my initial reaction is I don't like the map system, but I've had companies explain to me why it's good for them. I'm not convinced on it. I'm not convinced that a free economy won't sort things out on its own. There's a lot of complexities to it too, though, that companies do different things in stores, and there's all kinds of stuff, and there's people who say one thing and they'll do another. So that's I know that's like a very ambiguous answer, but that's kind of where I'm at right now with it. It's interesting. We'll have to wait and see, honestly. But I have some strong opinions on it, but they're constantly fluctuating. Have you looked at the new Magic set, by the way? I have not looked at the new Magic set. I'll probably look at it at some point. Hi, Tom. I understand you like science fiction literature. Have you read something from Philip Dick? Oh, yes, for sure. Or William Gibson? Yes. Any thoughts? Meh. I know they're great writers. Philip Dick is so depressing, and William Gibson, I found him a little too... He wasn't as exciting for me. But I haven't read a ton of stuff from him. I've read a lot of Philip Dick's short stories, for sure. I like him. He's a good writer. But, man, every time I read him, I'm like, man, that was super depressing. Right now I'm on a Brandon Sanderson kick, so I'm not reading any sci-fi. Anyway, I'm reading fantasy. So I finished the whole, up to the ones they've done, of the Mistborn series. So now I'm reading Way of Kings, which is a really intriguing book to wrap your head around because it does what I want to be done. It has fantasy done in a completely different way than I've ever seen before. It's really interesting. There's so much going on, and the customs, like you'll get into land and they'll say this is the custom, like just a very simple thing, like for men to read is kind of considered to be weird. If a man reads, that's something women do. Like, what? Really? That's kind of an intriguing tidbit here in this whole universe, and there's just some really interesting things. The only problem I have with Mistborn with Way of Kings is I'll be reading about one of the characters and I'm like, this is really interesting, and then they switch and it's like a few more chapters before I get back to that character. I'm like, but I want to see what happens here next. There's a lot of characters in it too, and they're all fairly related to each other as time goes by. So I'm slowly learning which one's which. Did you back the other hat Kickstarter? You mean the sequel to the turtle hat? I didn't do that one because I think was it another kind of turtle or something? And I was like, I already have a turtle hat. I don't need to get two of them. But if there's another one I'm missing, please let me know. Speaking of Mistborn, I'm a huge fan of New Angeles, but know nothing about the Mistborn story. Well, I like the game. I never played New Angeles, so I don't know. That turtle hat is too much. It is not too much. That turtle hat is amazing. Have you seen Cobra Kai? I saw the first episode with my wife, and then I promised I would watch the rest of it with her, and we just haven't we haven't got time to do it yet. But we enjoyed the first episode a lot. We're not watching with the kids because they wouldn't get any of it. You have to kind of really know the first movie, the original Karate Kid movie to get it. But we enjoyed the first episode. Tom, tomorrow's my birthday. Do you have any annual birthday traditions? No, I don't. I don't really make a big deal about my birthday. It's fun, and the kids give me gifts sometimes. So there's that. I don't know. I don't really think much about my birthday except I'm getting a year older, so hey. Prediction about the big announcement. Rado joins the Dice Tower network. No. We're not adding anyone else to our network. That's not part of the announcement. Too many games? Look at your collection as a board game rental collection. Buy games, play them, sell them, trade them when you're done. The small loss was your rental fee. That's kind of okay on how that works, but it doesn't work extremely well if you're shipping the games in the mix. You have to keep that in mind too. All right. Well, I see that I'm still like almost 15 minutes behind, so I'm going to go faster. Are any of the state of company seminars at GenCon worth it for the average gamer to attend? I didn't realize how many state of the company ones. I mean, Fantasy Flight has done it for years, and I used to be super excited about going to those, and I'd sit there and be like, ooh, what are they going to talk about next? And now it's basically more Star Wars announcements. So that's not as exciting to go to, right? It's like, oh, are you going to make another Star Wars? You're going to make another Star Wars game? What? And then a smaller company, when they do it, it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting, I guess a little, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to put any of them down. I don't know. Maybe it depends if you like that company's games a lot. I would go to them if you like them a lot. Oh, yeah, the GenCon events are live, by the way, and the Dice Tower one is half sold out already, I think. GenCon event finder. Let's look. So we'll search for Dice Tower events. There it is, Dice Tower live on Friday at 2 p.m. And there is, oh, it doesn't tell me how many tickets are left. Get tickets, sign in. There's 636 tickets left out of 1,200. So we haven't half sold out, but almost half. I just need 36 more people to get them. But still, hey, there's 564 people coming. Well, that's good. That's exciting. So if you want to come to that, you can check that out. Okay. Did we enjoy Western Legends? I really enjoyed Western Legends. Like, really enjoyed it. Are there any World War II worker placement games? Huh. Possibly. No Saturday morning cartoons when I was a kid? No, but you know what? I don't regret that. I still saw them occasionally at friends' houses or at my grandparents' and stuff. And as a kid, I was like, man, I wish I could watch more TV, but I'm really glad in retrospect that I didn't. I really read a ton of books. I spent a lot of creative time on my own doing things, working and learning. And I don't feel like it stunted me to not know all the pop culture. I've caught up on a lot of that pop culture from the 80s, or I learned it from other kids in the neighborhood anyway. So, yeah, I don't really regret it. Tom, you and the guys should do a top 10 blinged out games that you own and invite Jason to that one. Actually, Z doesn't bling his games out. Sam does it a little, but not much. I'm the only one who really does it, and Jason doesn't do it. So it would not be a very interesting top 10. Is it really possible that reprinting Pandemic on the Brink isn't financially viable for Z-Man? It's the most well-regarded expansion to a super popular game, but there's been nothing for 2 years. I don't know, and maybe it didn't sell as well as we think. Again, I don't have access to all those numbers, so I don't really know how well games have done. I suppose you're not watching Twitch. I am. I've been answering Twitch questions more than the YouTube. Well, comparatively. Did you get to watch PBS shows? No. I mean, I saw them occasionally, but not much. Some days back, Actual shared a video where he said he had to step back from posting content because he was taking it too seriously, constantly checking stats, worrying about decreases in shares and viewings. Did it ever happen to you? Well, I certainly do the same thing, right? I'm always constantly checking stats, worrying about decreasing in shares and all that jazz. Is it taking a toll on my health or well-being? I don't think so. It is stressful sometimes, but what can you do about it? You know, I think what I find most stressful about it is I work really hard, and we try to put out a lot of good content for everybody to watch, and, you know, work hard on that. And then we'll see people, there'll be a thread started on Reddit. It happens on almost a monthly basis where someone will say, what's your favorite reviewer? And people will be like, well, definitely not Dice Tower. They're too big. They're too this. They're too this. I don't watch them anymore. I used to watch them. I'm like, oh, man. You know, oh, what am I going to do? I'm losing viewers. But it's just not to worry about that sort of thing. And I know it's easy to say, right? And especially when you're getting started, you're going to really care about those numbers because you want them to go up. When I start a new show, I watch numbers. How well will this do? I'm watching the GenCon things. So are the seats they're going to sell out? I hope so. Yeah, I watch a lot of numbers at a lot of different things. But it doesn't really affect my mental health, I don't think. but maybe it hasn't. I just haven't noticed. The Storm Light Archive is my favorite series of books now. I really hope you get to finish up the Oathbringer. Well, I probably will once I haven't. Sorry, but man, the book is pretty dense. There's a lot in this first book that I'm reading through. And last night I was like, oh, because whenever I go to bed, I do some reading. I don't read I don't read a ton of books. I read books on my phone, and I read comics on my iPad. And so I was like, I don't know which one I want to read. Do I want to read comics before bed or books? It doesn't really matter because I'm only going to read for like 5 minutes and fall asleep. But I read comics instead, and I've been reading Old Man Logan, which is actually a really good series in the Marvel Universe. Is there any Amazon gift lists for Melody's graduation? I don't know. I mean, we thought about that. Like, me and Melody thought about, putting something like that online, but it seemed kind of disingenuous, I guess. I know you guys have watched her grow up since the beginning, so maybe we should have put something together, like a thing. But if you want to PayPal me at Dice Tower, Tom at dicetower@gmail.com and say it's a gift for Melody, I'll make sure she gets it. But other than that, we haven't really done anything. Chief Sokotoa is finally joining the Dice Tower and doing reviews. No, Chief Sokotoa is too busy saving the world to join the Dice Tower and do reviews. Did you watch Mr. Rogers or Sesame Street as a kid? Yeah, when I was at people's houses, I guess. All right, well, man, time is almost up. Oh, but I almost caught up on questions, too. Either that or I missed a bunch of them. I'm not sure. Okay, well, you can't please everyone, Tom. Well, I know that, right? And so that's the main thing that you have to learn. You can't please everyone. So we don't try to please everyone. We definitely don't try to please everyone. It's just, I guess, it's not always fun to read when people say they actively dislike you, and I'm like, I've never met these people. Why would they dislike you? Or people say, I met them and they were super arrogant. I'm like, oh man, what did I say? When was that? And that's happened several times, right? That's the stuff that bothers me, is when I meet someone says, I met Tom and he was a jerk to me. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't mean to be a jerk. Was I tired? Did I say something? Was I trying to be funny and I wasn't? That sort of thing will bother me more so. If someone's like, watch this video and the guy is a twerp, he wears stupid hats and dumb shirts, that sort of thing doesn't really bother me, because it is what it is. I don't know that I really want to be friends with someone who thinks my hat's stupid anyway, because my hats are awesome. All right. I think that's it for the questions. Oh, yeah, Michael Noah just mentioned, new board game breakfast segment idea. Melody records her attempts to bring her new college friends into the world of gaming and reports back on how successful games were as intro games, which ones fell flat and why. I thought about that, but I don't know how busy she'll actually be, like doing kind of college stuff. So we'll see. So that's that. Folks, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your questions and stuff. Keep an eye out. Like I said, we got a lot of things coming this week. Here, I'll tell you some of the upcoming stuff. So tomorrow you can look forward to seeing reviews of Incorporated Pool Party Santa Maria. A boring unboxing video is going up tomorrow. First Martians from Chris. I'm going to be talking about the top selling games of April tomorrow. Tramways. Wednesday, We Didn't Start the Fire for Imperial Settlers, Empires, Terra Shifta, Crowd Surfing and Look Back. Thursday, Board Game Blunder goes up, Little Bird Big Hunger, Michael Strogoff, Best Games of King Klenko, Avengers Infinity Hero Clicks, Jin is coming, Council of 4, Kitty Bitty, a game called Finished, Huns, Sakura Arms, Taco Takeover, Drop It, Sunset Over Water, Cartography Around the Farm, Best of Eric Lang as a designer, and HOPE, Hope, which, by the way, is really hilarious because Meeple Talk is doing the Hope review. I'll be doing my Hope review later. But what I really like is in Hope, every player is part of Hope, which stands for something. Humans of preservation, I don't know what it stands for, but it stands for something. You're all trying to save the world. But one player is secretly working for Nope. I don't even know if they have an acronym. Just, you're either Hope or you're Nope. I don't know. I thought that was funny. All right. Well, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. Thanks so much. And the red versus green team is coming up again. All right, each team has a chance to send out 20 dice that are going to be randomly selected from these crowds of dice. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 dice. Now the red team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. All right. This is the most even match we've seen in a long time. All right. So here we go. First single elimination. We're going to reduce them down. It's a what? It is a 10-sided die. Is that legal? It is legal, but if I roll 0, 0, that counts as 0. Oh, that doesn't give this 8-sided chance much of a fight. So over here, the red team is cheering or is booing. The green team is laughing because they have 2, 3 of these dice. Can we win? Probably not. 40-1. Pfft. Red die has been eliminated. Green has 1. Next, another one against another 8-sided die. 30-8. Nice try. Get out. Now we have a 20 versus a 12. 19-7. Well, so far there's been no upsets. The bigger dice have won in each one. Another 20 against a 12. 9-1. The red dice are coming back. A 20 to an 8-sided die. 12-6. Oh, wait, red does have one of these dice. So does green. What? Well, you said we could do it. 20-80. Oh, eliminate it. 10-sided versus a 20-sided. This die here is a counting die. Many people have made fun of it, saying it's not really a die. It's just a counting marker. And he struggled with that his whole life. Will he overcome that? Can he get through the thing? 7-9. Nope, he's been eliminated. Get out of here. You're not a die. All right, 20 to another one of these idiotic 10s. 15-80. Eliminated. Green is laughing all the way to the bank. 6 versus a 12. 11 beats a 4. 8 versus a 20. 3 beats a 2, barely. 8 versus a 12. 8-12. Well, there you go. Still no major upsets here. 10 versus an 8. Tie. Both eliminated. Both got 1s. They've also both been killed. That's what happens with double 1s. It's a very dangerous game we play here. 10 beats a 6. 20 versus 20. 19 beats a 15. And 8 versus a 12. 11 beats a 3. A 10 versus a 10. 2-2. Both eliminated, but they get to keep their lives. 20 versus 8-sided. 20 beats a 4. Not only does a 20 beat the 4, but also the red team here has to kill another person. That's what happens when you roll 20. 2 versus a 9. And, another counting die against a 4-sided. A 3 and a 3. The red team is thrilled. These counting dice, not really dice. Biasm reigns supreme. And a 0 to an 11. That's right. It doesn't say 10, it says 0. Referees are debating. All right, so after the first round, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for the green team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the red team, with a few deaths along the way. So one of these guys gets a bye. It's the 20-sided die. Here we go. Another percentile die versus a 20. 50-3. The red team is really upset about this. 12. 1-1, another double elimination, and another death. There's been more deaths happening in this game than I've ever seen before. 90-10. It's a little disgusting. 70-8. Oh, very intriguing. 20s on 20s. 5 beats a 4. There are 2 red dice and 2 green dice. Oops, that's the one that got the bye. 15 to 4. All right. A 12 versus a percentile die. 80 to 11. Things are not looking good. And a 10 on a 12. 12 beats a 2. There are now 3 red dice left and 5 green ones. So there's going to be 2 buys in this round. So both these dice are out. Well, it's not looking good for the red team. Percentile versus a 12. 60 to 2. Percentile versus percentile. 60 to 40. One of the percentile dice was beaten by the red one. The green team is hushed. The percentile dice have never lost. But they lost to a percentile dice, so that makes sense. All right, 20 to 20. 16 beats 15. All right, not so good for the red team. The red team is down to a single red percentile die mixed with 4 green dice. Here we go. He's going to have to play against them all till he wins or loses. First against the 20. 16 beats a 10. Well, that was a crushing victory. The green team is laughing. The officials are going into rules and not sure that percentile dice are even legal. And the red team is like angrified. But suddenly, they pour out of the stands in a rage, and they start fighting. And, it's getting bloody. I think one of the green dice has been killed. The green dice come out, and it's a big fight. And they're all fighting each other. And dice bits are flying everywhere. More reds come out. More greens come out. Oh, it's a veritable Christmas in there.